Welcome back. We're here to do the divine connection. Yes, come join us for the tips, especially within our YouTube membership. We do help you through your ascension process to reach union. Now, very separately, we do have a webinar that is going to be hosted through the YouTube membership at the bottom level. And if you do want to come join to see your stars come through, now we're going to pull these all fresh on screen. And we're going to say what the current energy is moving through for the joint connection and what I see coming through. I would directly say, for those of you, if you have been feeling tired, we do have a lot of planets retrograde. Jupiter also went retrograde, which does directly link to divine masculine. Mars also in the mixes in the house of Libra. So trying to find that balance. I think all of us are having the clarity at this point in time that we're wanting to have balance. And that things are taking a lot longer than we thought. But it's cautious. It's cautious energy. It's fatigued energy, but it's intentional energy. That's really what I'm picking. So these things that are going to be happening within our twin flame path, within our own path moving forward, especially prepping us moving from here into October. We're moving into eclipse energy. So really from May, it has been pretty hectic, especially linking to our ascension process. The changes that especially divine feminine has gone through have been quite hectic. Oh gosh, okay, well that makes sense. I might pull another one for feminine and masculine. Bear with me. I've been doing a very quick catch up with everything of late. So in true Mercury retrograde form, it's organized chaos. That's the way I can describe it. Organized chaos. I think we could also call the path that at the moment. It's like, really expecting a lot, but having to be quite realistic. Hate being realistic, don't we? Let's look at the ruin cast before I pull the tarot, and we'll see what we come through. Hi. He's too busy sleeping with cheap. Well, generally, spiritually, things do shift. Depends on what wave we are. Let's see what the ruin cast is calling. I do really, I do notice through the transits as well. I especially see a lot of Gemini and Sagittarians are going to have some huge shifts. What else? Libra and Aries are going to have massive shifts. Cancer and Capricorn directly are. Scorpio and what would the shadow sign of Scorpio be? I'm getting a bit vague now. Scorpio, Taurus and Scorpio. Yeah. Big shifts for those zodiac signs. But definitely in a transit, especially where the nodes link, you tend to find by the time you wrap that cycle up, a new chapter's coming in that cycle. So the ruin cast we have for the joint connection at this point in time moving forward is this. And it links to Mercury. Surprise, surprise. Okay, so Mercury, we have Mercury in the house of Virgo. It moves direct shortly by the 15th. We can directly have a bit more clarity within our own personal lives on matters, how to apply things. There can be this element of excitement, but I definitely feel because Jupiter is retrograde, is that we're going to do that slow and steady, and it's going to be quality assured. It's going to be almost wanting details before we're jumping in. So I feel we're going to be more realistic. We're going to be asking those questions. We're also going to be caring for our wellness as well. So it links to Raven, which Raven is almost where it can link between both worlds. It can speak to the living and the dead. It's very psychic in nature. This element also links to air energy, being, again, Mercury is retrograde, but it's going to be intuitive. So you need to trust your instincts. Odin, ash, and figurine mushroom. I don't know why this computer keeps opening up a different screen. Go away, screen. Because it's Mercury retrograde, that's why. Okay, advice, communication, contemplation, inspiration, authority, tradition, blessing, and verbal skills. Esoteric meaning, initiation, scarred knowledge, divine inspiration. Reversed, delusions, misunderstandings, lies, intellectual stagnation. And I feel a lot of that residue energy with the Venus retrograde has caused divine feminine to really reflect upon the pain body experiences, the things that have happened to them, how they're caring for themselves, their healthy boundaries, how people maybe have poorly treated you in the mix of moving forward in life. So I do think there's a great deal of healing, and I feel, I keep getting the Rita Ora song, R.I.P. to the girl I used to be. So I do get that divine feminine is really shifting, becoming a new vibration. And sometimes we can go through trends where we're feeling we need to be more firm and boss ass. And that's going to protect us against adversity, toxicity. But I think it's more the intellectual side of things, of knowing what you're worth and creating that boundary. And realizing good and bad things happen to all people. But I think it's a different attitude. I think it's a spiritually mature attitude, but it's a cautious, mature attitude. Okay. What does it say? It reassures us that the answer is out there, and it may be revealed through inspiration, wise counsel, or a treasure of traditional wisdom. And sometimes these can be from our ancestors. It might be from a spiritual guide. It could be from me. This could be from anyone. So it may be really seeking that wisdom. This also can be from the spiritual element of things, going into the faith, especially because Jupiter really can link to religion, faith, belief. We are going into the esoteric side of things. With certain planets retrograde, we can lose our religion. So it's almost like we can lose our faith in circumstances. But we also could return to some of those things that are actually helping us. And that can be meditation. It could be prayer. It can be those things that can get us back onto that balanced and harmonization. There is possibilities of outbursts and crossness due to the fact that Mars is in the house of Libra, and Libra is in the South Node for 18 months. So I've pulled a crowning energy from the Native Spirit deck. I've got one for feminine, one for the joint energy, which is very Pluto. It's all the underrealm. Been too long, it has. Well, hey, my path was 25 years, We don't stop living. We don't stop being ourselves and growing and ascending. But yeah, I feel ya. There also can be little links as to what we do to actually help that shift. Sometimes we don't know that. Oh, okay. Put that back in. I do feel for a pocket group, especially wave one. I do feel masculines are either on their way out the door, leaving a karmic cycle, or directly single. Okay, there is a pocket group. Those that are in a karmic connection, they also could be feeling as though they need to be free. They need to sort of rid that vibration prior to moving into another connection. They feel that's healthy. But it is also to do with being themselves, because we have freedom horse. Divine feminine has our medicine. And again, some of you could be having issues with he got married within a week, and we were separated because of his karmic family. Look, it still does turn around. I was in my path. I've been married. I've been in relationships. He's been in relationships. He had children, and here we are today. We've been in reunion now for 5 years, but definitely we've grown. So it's sort of like you can't really tap out of the path. It's a bit of a shit that way, but you do find your way back to each other. It's just the way it goes. But there's lessons. The reason why we go into those things, there's usually a mirror, and there's a reason why those energies come into our life. But there's our wisdom, okay? Which our is very intuitive. It's about trusting your instincts. It's using your psychic energy. I also do advise for those of you that are very psychic, what you can find is if you do have a very strong connection to this person in the 5D, is try to remove that a little bit. And it's you might be saying to me, why do you say that? It's because when they sense you, it's comforting. When they don't, they need to be physically. It's a little bit like not selling your resume. because that person needs to be part of your life to be able to know anything that's going on in your life. So the same happens on the 5D. There's a comfort factor, and it happens with both parties, both masculine and feminine. So if you directly are sending, and it's not to say you don't send love and light, but the thing is, if they can tune into you, it gets comfortable. And so they're thinking, you're good because you're still there in the ethers. I'm doing what I'm doing. Let's just keep everything the same. But if you pull your energy back, be it on an intuitive level, and you breathe in, you breathe out, you tune into something else, you can get that direct movement. Also, usually with whatever they're doing right now, it generally relates to a belief system you had to a previous situation, i.e., if they're in a karmic relationship, did you have a circumstance similar to that? And are you gauging how long it will take for them to exit that, or the likelihood of? Because whatever that is, there's keys to it. And that's where coaching comes in, or personal bookings. But at the moment, this is an intuitive energy. Get some sleep. It is saying to get some sleep. It is saying on the ethers you are very connected. They can be entering into your dreams, which can be quite foreign, especially for some of you. If you found you're the one entering into their dreams, or you're the one dreaming about them, there are moments where you directly can dream of each other, and it can be really creepy. I get it completely. Trying really hard to distance myself. Yeah, it does work. I'll tell you honest. I used to start having panic attacks after, only because the person's energy was sort of like, what the hell's going on? Yeah, so it does actually, it creates movement. It makes us be realistic with our life. It's like, okay, now turn into your life and what horrible things are there that we need to address. You tidy them up and you get movement. So our medicine, divine feminine, you guys may not be sleeping as well. This can be causing issues with your sleep. I also feel your recovery with your body due to Venus retrograde, Chiron was retrograde. You're recovering at this point. So be really gentle with yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. If you're needing to try and tidy shop, get things organized, if you spiritually feel that you need to think a little bit, or even to have your own personal time, a little bit like when we have kids, we find ourselves sitting in the dark or sitting up late at night and you're having a cuppa and you're like, this is so nice. It's because you spiritually need your own time. Hi, Tammy. How you doing, sweet? So I definitely feel at the moment your our medicine is to have some private time, and also to know that you are the magician energy. You also could be called upon by other people at this point in time. That's the message I'm getting. And I'm feeling as though create some space for self, because you're going to need it. Okay, do we have insecurities that come up? Yes, but they are going to dissipate, dolls. Honestly, I'm telling you, they are going to dissipate, because once you realize, pity the fool who entered into, when we look at third party, we generally go, oh, that, how do I put it? It's almost like, because it's a joint connection, you will get to a stage, especially with the ins and outs of the connection, you will pity the other person because silly, they went into a dynamic where there was unfinished business between two individuals, which we could call in the collective twin flames. So if anything, those energies are working on borrowed time. There are people that are projecting towards you and jealous. I think some of you have dealt with a green-eyed monster already inside your lives. I feel some of you could have that feeling coming up, but I'm feeling it's more to do with people actually having sort of like the jealous eye on you. The other thing I would say is, if some of you are having psychic attacks, especially with Neptune and Jupiter retrograde, you can use Tumbaline, clear your homes, especially during the moon phases. And protect yourself with maybe a crystal grid, or just clear your houses, really, okay? And near the moons, I would always be more careful going into the moon phase and out of the moon phase, because you can find psychic attacks can happen more so, okay? Especially if you're tuning into a karmic that's a jerk. You can accidentally embody their energy. There is a karmic energy here moving to the past. I also do feel if this is a partner of divine masculine, so they do have jealousy. But that usually signals that there's some trouble in, there's some, I used to wear it around my neck. It looked like cow dungy, but, it was big. I got a big one. I would not go anywhere without it, because Like, I'm psychic, but my psychic attacks, they will only work for so long. Once it gets to the point they don't work, it's because you've reached another level, and that's when you become the crystal. But initially, you're going to be smudging, you're going to be doing house clearing, you're going to be trying to get your chakra shit together so that you can actually manage that ascension. I do feel there's people from the past coming back. It's really weird. We'd think it was during Venus retrograde, but I've always been picking it's in the direct that we more get maybe the TF, and there's generally those tests with other people that are coming up. I do feel if you have been having people all of a sudden becoming very attracted to you, don't be surprised. It usually means that DM's on their way, or that you've just decided what you will and won't have. When you get to that uninterested stage, you're just like, I'll just do me. I'll just do me. Thank you very much. Let's see masculines. I've actually got a lot of messages through just the crowning energy. I've been burning, yeah. So there are some people coming through the woodworks. Yeah, look after yourself near the moon phases. They're also saying, oh, don't you hate it when the universe calls you out? They're saying don't lie to yourself if you still have feelings for your twin. It's like, just accept what you feel. You'll have days where you'll be like, you know what? You're a horrible human being. I'm just being really polite here, and I don't know why. And then other days you'll be like, darn on it, really miss this person. You're having this dialogue going on in the heart chakra, and it's a bit of a bugger. Just go with it. Just flow with it. You're going to have moments where it's going to be like, sod you, I'm done with this, and I always go to songs for those analogies because it's always in those waves of emotions when you're going through your path. You sort of like, you have these kind of key theme songs. Yeah, Rita Ora for me was one of them. It was RIP to the girl I used to be. It's like, I am not putting up with this shit, yeah. So you're going to have those theme songs yourself. Song synchronicities can be coming through for you, giving you your motto for this movement forward. I also feel you're going to know in the heart of heart if somebody's telling you a fib, but also generally if they are, they're fibbing to themselves, so don't personalize it. Yeah. I actually have conversations with my radio. Like if it has some sap song on it, it's like, no. I'm not going there today. I'm not letting it ruin my vibration. Thank you very much. So these songs are coming through. Yeah, don't undervalue yourself. Know who you are. This connection is very different. It's a very different connection to a traditional connection. It has the ups and downs, but they do dissipate and will change. I do feel overall many of you, due to Venus being retrograde, I mean, you think about it. When you're run down and emotional and tired, and the transits have been doing that, we are not positive about anything. During Venus retrograde, we also find that plants die. So if they're not faring too well, how do we feel spiritually, emotionally, physically? We're doing. So just be really gentle to yourself and say, look, I'm having this rebirth. I'm shedding skin. At the moment, a lot of the way that DM had resonated with you isn't resonating with you anymore. You're like, that's unattractive. I'm not finding that attractive. I'm finding that frustrating. I also feel for those of you that are in communication at the moment, your vibration and the way you're dealing with things are changing as well. And so you're going to spot a white lie. You're going to ride with the circumstance for a bit. You're going to move in and you're going to address it. But I think there is some sense of a large change happening at the moment. And you're really pacing yourself to see how this is going to directly impact you with your future, be it you're in communication or not. You want to know with your choices that you're directly looking at in your life right now, how it's going to impact you. So I do feel many of you are wanting to make major decisions. I'd probably delay, if you can, till after the 15th. I think you're going to psychologically see more clearly from there. But I would also make warning of the 24th. It is a difficult day. And I would say give yourself a day either side of that, because we do have an opposition happening, and it is a tough one. It does link to Chiron as well. So if you are communicating with individuals or you are going through a pain body experience, just have that in your awareness, and it's going to help you actually ride that storm. There is a strong vibration here. For some reason, I'm seeing whatever is happening now is prepping us for October. And I do see radical change happening from October and beyond. Now, divine masculine here is freeing themselves from toxic situations. I do think that they're learning a lot more on how to be assertive, how to create boundaries with individuals. And I almost feel for many of them, especially in the first wave, they're really running away from karmic situations. Some of these things generally will return, but not in the way you think. And it's because to close them out is to prove to them that they've kicked a habit. So when it comes back, it's like, are you sure you don't want no more? And they're kind of like, yeah, maybe we could find balance. And then it's like, no, we really can't. No, we really can't. To the point it's like, no. So it's very certain. It's very matter of fact, and it closes quite quickly. So I do see this freedom energy. It's like wanting to get out of Dodge. I also feel any hang-ups they were having, that they do feel they invested with people that they probably shouldn't have. Okay, it's like bad investments, placing bets on wrong situations, and just a lot of regret there. Some that did get into a karmic relationship, regardless of what you may see on social media, and this will be more for those of you that are dealing with a twin that is in a karmic relationship. They may make out for a while that everything is rosy, and that's sort of like the analogy that maybe our parents told us: you made your bed, you've got to lie in it. That is going to change, but you will see some sense of a vibe shifting. But what's happening behind closed doors is not very good. I also feel at times they felt that they weren't worthy of having this connection with you. We have the backstabbing, the opponent wins, in the heart. It's like whenever I put my heart into something, the good ones get away. So when you came along, in their opinion, they're sort of like, you're the keeper. They knew that would hurt them so much more if somebody had you than. So it's kind of like that self-sabotage. It felt as though they sabotaged. There's a lot of passion, and the sacral chakra is really being activated quite lately. So it could be that they're tapping into your dreams. They're having intimate thoughts. They're wanting to express to you how they're feeling. But there is this passion, especially for those of you in communication, if you've found that you've been fighting. It's the sacral chakra energy. It's frustrating energy. So this is actually moving it, and it's almost like, well, have fun on the ethers, but the 3D is so much better. So they're getting into this sort of like wanting to be in the 3D, actually having these things, but realizing where their heart lies, realizing where the passion lies. And we do have divine feminine's energy of the high priestess here. So knowing you're a person that both has fairness and kindness, as well as, kind of like a benchmark. It's the one that got away. But they do look at you as a very intuitive, very rational person, very educated person. Yeah, they're away with the fairies with this daydream, I'm telling you. What zodiac is he? He's trying to fix the cracks in a current relationship. Yeah, well, Venus direct is when, by the time Mercury goes direct, it could look pretty shitty. Yeah, so really get, sometimes why do we stay? We stay for money. Sometimes why do we stay? We could have habits. And so those habits are the only thing that binds us. And we may have to face those habits and, leave those habits to actually have a healthy life. So there are some of those dynamics at the moment. There's a monetary situation I'm seeing here. There is a family related for some, and there's also, for some, it's habits. And it's really questioning this faithfulness inside the karmic cycle. But again, what is coming up for them is about you at this point in time. They are thinking about you. They know that they need to level up. And they also feel as though they wouldn't be happy if you were with somebody else. You told him no to what? What did you? What's the zodiac? What's the zodiac, Tammy? Yeah, they're looking at two paths here, but I think more. For some, especially if they've separated from a path, I don't feel they're looking at it nostalgically. I feel they're looking at the connection with you cautiously because they don't want to repeat the past. They could be resisting a tower moment with individuals, but they're feeling it's unavoidable. They also could be dragged into a circumstance. This circumstance could put them in the hot seat, but it's to do with the judgment. So yes, it could be the law or something like that. Let's see how the joint connection's going. There's dramas happening here, though, especially for those in a karmic relationship. And look, a relationship doesn't have to be a romantic one. It can be a karmic cycle can link to, and you'll never have the same karmic. What do I mean by that? In a chapter in your journey, you are going to have karmics that are more the intimate partner, okay? And then it can be friends, and then it's family. It could be kids. It's like the cycle shifts to different things where we understand then we have to create those boundaries with all people. So there is healing in all of these facets. So when I do make mention of karmic, do not just connect it to it's a romantic partner. It can be a karmic situational ship. Let's see. Okay, so there's something old here coming up. It's hidden, and I do feel there are hidden feelings. So if you have not heard the depths of their feelings about you, I do feel that they're hidden. I also feel a solution is going to come to us from the Ruin cast. It's making mention to it. And it is to do with Mercury. So for some, it can be in the person's body language, in a stance, in a photograph, intuitively, knowing in your gut, but also by them directly communicating with you. And I feel there's this need where they do directly want to, but they're trying to find the way. Yeah, again, Queen of Cups. I'm telling you, it's intuitive. It feels very psychic to me. There is a very psychic, spiritual connection between the both of you, and you need to trust your instincts. But I feel that this person is getting that. They're going to need to communicate how they actually really feel. Okay, some old situation is being tied up. I do feel it's about money. I also feel it is about how much they value you. I think even if they're biding their time, I'm kind of picking a tower moment coming. Not in a generally, a tower moment is going to be a positive thing. It takes us to our dreams and destiny, but it eliminates a way of doing something. And I'm really hearing the term elimination of doing something in a particular way. I think if there are blocks in this path, I think for some reason it's almost like there is going to be a clearing that's happening between now and October. And I feel this is creating a new cycle. I feel it's closing out a karmic cycle, but it's bringing it ahead of cycles so that directly can happen. I feel that the method that DM have been taking was they thought they'd be to their destination a lot earlier than what they currently are. And this was actually going on behind the scenes, unbeknownst to anyone. I'm literally looking at this as a person who is, maybe getting themselves prepared. It's a little bit like the Fool card. That's what I'm picking psychically. They're kind of putting things away, packing things, preparing themselves. And I'm telling you, Divine Feminine knows when someone's fibbing. The anniversary of when we first came face to face. Yeah, just say, look, I want the whole parcel. And Sagittarius, told you. Gemini and Sagittarius. It's usually where the reconciliations happen, which is after the nodal cycle. It can happen during. Yeah, you're gonna be like, okay, I'm picking a flaw in your plan, and this is what I'm saying from the cards. It's like, I get your intention, I get the nostalgia. I feel at a collective level we're like, but there's a flaw in your plan. So I feel there's some sense of communication going on, either intuitively or in the 3D. Whatever this is that divine feminine is doing, I feel it's shifting their perspective. I could say don't underestimate divine feminine, but we won't tell them that, okay? Because what I'm seeing here is, I think however you used to relate to them before, relate to them differently. And I feel if you can do that in a very healthy fashion, what I'm saying from the cards is it's going to take them a little bit off guard, but it is going to change the status of the connection so that they can deal with things differently. I do feel the partnership here. I do feel it's ushering in the partnership, but you're playing for keeps. Divine Feminine's coming through the gate with this going, okay, I need to take a tactical approach. I need to be careful. I want to look after my energy. I need to be practical with the way I'm proceeding forward. You may, the only thing we truly do know is the toxic side, right? The biggest fear factor you'll have is once this person's healthy, you don't know, or the unknowns become large. And so we do generally in the reunion stage become the problem. And that's because we're taken off guard when the person is coming towards us healthy. And that's where we need to check ourselves and go, look, I've got all my toolkit in the bag. I have my memories. I have all the fair-based frequencies, but I have to note that this is different. This is different. But it's okay right now. What I am seeing here, your attitude going into it, moving ahead from here, how you're applying your energy right now is changing the status quo, and it is taking you to your destiny. It's because you're saying to yourself, look, I'm playing for keeps with the situation. If that is you, divine masculine, fabtabulous. But it's almost the tone that you're setting. And because the tone that you're setting is such, you're attracting it back in. And they're going to pick up on it psychically. So, like I said, I've said this 100 times. Don't think if you're not in communication, they're not getting the PDF. However you are vibrating, they are picking up the PDF and movement is happening. I will check in with this energy next week. If you do want to join a YouTube membership come through, I'll give you the tips for union and how to make it through. I do have over 5 people now in union from the coaching, from the private sessions. And, it doesn't just benefit them in the romantic sense. It has benefited them in different areas, their career, their living environments, really giving them the courage and the tools in their life to get back to where they need to be. Otherwise, we do have the Star Sign webinar coming up on Wednesday. It is going to be in the evening if you want to join that. Otherwise, I will see you for the next week's edition.